they've, been very clear that they don't want me in this election. I hear it from people all the time. Why don't you, you could hurt Joe Biden, and get Trump elected. People say that to me a lot.
So I sense you see a bit of a connection between, say, some of the coverage that you get in places like the New York Times and your criticism of the agencies and things like that. Like, you see this as sort of one insidious web, which I think is deeply also connected to the Democrat Party these days. I mean, the fact that you're polling in some places over 20% right now, and they are making it very, very clear that they're not going to put you on a debate stage. I mean, a lot of Democrats, I think, are not happy about this. I know a lot of Republicans are not happy about it, and they're happy to talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think, one of the things I said in my speech, my announcement speech in Boston, is that the people who are normally put in charge of these agencies, and this was what Trump did too. Trump came in and he promised to drain the swamp, and then, he named me as head of the Vaccine Safety Commission. And I started that function. I met with Fauci, I met with Collins, and was putting together that, project. And then when that news got out, Pfizer gave $1 million contribution to Trump, and Trump appointed to Pfizer's handpicked candidates, Alex Azar, to run HHS, and Scott Gottlieb, who was a partner of Pfizer, to run FDA. Yep. And, Gottlieb came in there, did an $88 billion gift of Operation Warp Speed for Pfizer, and then left to join Pfizer's board and collect his payoff. So, that is the swamp. And people come in wanting to change it, but they get intimidated by these big agencies, and they get frightened because, the agency can hurt you. If you go after that agency, there's a lot of top-level officials in there who can commit all kinds of civil disobediences that will embarrass the president. And so what they do is they appoint somebody who's safe. They look at the agency, they say, I'd like to change that, but I got other agendas. So they leave the whole, instrument of corruption intact, and they appoint somebody who's safe. And that person, Ralph Reed once said to me, the guys who get those jobs are the guys who get the joke.
Right.
What I said in my announcement speech is, I get the joke, but I don't think it's funny.
Right, exactly.
And I'm not safe. No, I'm not. My job is to keep the American people safe. But I'm not going to be safe with the status quo. I'm going to be the worst nightmare for the status quo.
So for all the people that hear you, the independents, what I would say are the remaining sort of old school liberals, and for even some conservatives who are open to a lot of these ideas, and a lot of the stuff you're talking about, it's sort of Trumpian in a certain sense. It's stuff that Tucker Carlson talks about. I want to get to the Ukraine war in a second. But what's the way to get you on that stage so that there can be a debate between you and Joe Biden? Because to me, the difference would be so stark that could start the avalanche. Like, that seems to be the chance. What can you do with the Democrat Party, in essence, is what I'm asking.
I think we need to go the Democratic Party into a debate. I mean, we're at a period in history where, so many Americans no longer believe in the political process. They think it's rigged against them. And, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party ought to be doing their best to showcase gold standard elections and to tell, the American people, democracy counts, your vote counts, your opinion counts. And we're actually going to do retail campaigning. We're going to have debates. We're going to, we're not going to be like the Soviet Union where, where the party would pick the candidate and tell you, here's who you vote for, and there's no real contest going on and no real choice. This is America. We model democracy for the world. We should have a model, a role model election in this country. And, we need to tell Joe Biden to embrace the ideals that he stood for his whole career and not end his career by, tarring our country with a rigged election. The Democrats.
Are you in any contact with the Democrat Party? I mean, have they specifically said we're not going to? I mean, I'm guessing they don't pick up your calls, right?
No, we're not in contact with them. I mean, they've been very clear that they don't want me in this election. I hear it from people all the time. Why don't you? You could hurt Joe Biden, and get Trump elected. People say that to me a lot. People who are in the party or. I ran into Hillary Clinton at a dinner a couple of weeks ago, and she said something like that to me along those lines. And it's strange because I don't think anybody is happy with the choices that Americans are being given right now. And I think, we need some other choices. I'm glad Marianne Williamson is in this race. I hope Gavin Newsom gets into it. I think, we need choices. We can't just have a kabuki theater, democracy. We need a real, we're supposed to be, the Democrats are supposed to be the party of the New Deal, not the party of the rigged deal. And that's...
I have to. My audience will go crazy if I don't say something, though, about Gavin Newsom, because he, to me, is exactly why I'm no longer a Democrat. The reason I literally fled California because of him, high taxes, endless regulation, lockdowns, keeping his winery open. So I'm with you that you need a diverse, broad coalition of people and different ideas and all that stuff. But that guy, I would be remiss if I did not say that.
But I love that because that's what I want to run. I want to have that discussion with him. I want to sit on a stage and say exactly what you just said, because, we should have the American people involved in this debate. I want people who I don't agree with. And I also want to show that we can have a civil discussion with each other, even though, even though we have these profound disagreements. There's nobody who disagrees more with the way that that Gavin Newsom ran the COVID operation. And, I was in San Francisco this week, and I spent, almost 9 months in San Francisco during the Monsanto trials. So, I got to know the city really well and love the city. And the courthouse is near enough Union Square that I could walk down to Union Square every morning. And you had, Union Square, for people who don't know San Francisco, is like the Fifth Avenue of San Francisco. It's where all the shops, Armani and Nordstrom's and Banana Republic and Gap and all of these, powerful, iconic American corporations, the showcase of American retail might is right there, Levi's and all of the, and it is Fifth Avenue West. And I went down there 3 weeks ago, and every one of those shops is closed, every one of them. And, these are huge buildings and giant malls and retail, and they're just closed. They're boarded up because they let them languish during these lockdowns that just destroyed the city. There's a 30 or 35% vacancy rate. And there's no way that I don't even understand any conception of how they can bring that city back. You need somebody, you need some very, very powerful, dynamic character who can come in and convince these retailers that that the policies are going to change and that they can take a risk on California, on San Francisco again. And that's all Gavin Newsom. And I want to talk to him about that. I want to talk on a stage, about what do you think that's good for America? Are you happy?
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of mindless drivel, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.